I think I found one of my new favorite restaurants in Central Indiana last evening. It was delicious. I'm excited to tell you all about it because there's nothing people around the world love listening to more than Central Indiana restaurant recommendations. Hello, everyone. It's Peter Dunn, Pete the Planner, host of Kristen and Company. Joining me this week is the lady herself, Damian Dunn. Hello.
Hello.
And Kristen Elanius. Hello.
Hello.
Dame, I'm sure I just violated some terrible thing there, so I'm sorry.
I'll be okay.
At least it's not documented. Good morning, Rick Swink. Kristen.
Pete.
Mrs. Planner and I decided we want to stay married. Okay.
I'm happy for you.
Well, I don't know. I'm speaking for myself here. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Jason. And so we were like, in the throes of our kids' ridiculous amount of activities that we sign them up for like morons, we need to occasionally spend some time together.
Probably a good idea. Yeah.
Dame, you're familiar with the old passing ships in the night sort of feel, right?
Indeed.
Buenos dias, Rochelle and Hola, Brian Pinkins. And so we were like, we're going out to eat. Going out to eat. So we got to eat. So there's this new restaurant in Zionsville, and it is delicious. It is one of the best restaurants I've eaten at in Indiana, and it is called Good Omen. Good Omen.
Oh.
It, of course, was an alarming situation because we are still in the midst of dry January. And when you go to a delicious restaurant with delicious food, with as extensive of a wine list as you can possibly find, it is a sad moment when you don't partake. But alas, I want to share a moment in the meal with you all and get your take on this. And I'm trying to be judgment free. I'm just observing. I'm observing. You guys bring the judgment. I'm observing.
Okay.
Menu was a little expensive. Okay. But it was really good. It was sort of like expensive, but to value, worth it. Right. I mean, are we tracking?
Yes.
There was one item on the menu that caught my eye. And it was a spicy one. It was a steak. I'm going to describe it to you now.
Mm,
Do you know much about beef, Kristen?
nothing.
Okay. That's a joke because Kristen brought me beef to the office once. I mean, because that's the sort of teammate she is.
Yes.
85-day dry aged. Now, are you ready for this part?
Okay.
A5 ribeye.
So that's an envelope, right?
No.
That's amazing, Dame. Dame. That's
Sorry.
so good. Is that 2 weeks in a row that he's gotten Dame, you're in a zone. What do you got going on here?
I don't know.
A5 ribeye with rosemary fingerling potatoes. 85-day aged A5 ribeye with rosemary fingerling potatoes. Okay. Kristen, this is like biggest waste of money of the week.
Crap.
All right. What does that cost?
Jeez. I don't even eat steak at restaurants. I have no idea.
Okay. Do you want to
Is
pass?
it- Let Dame guess first.
Okay, it's fair. It's fair. Do you want any other menu items? Is there something else on the menu that you want to know what it costs, Dame? Is that helpful?
Maybe. Did you say how many ounces that A5 is?
I didn't because it doesn't say. But I will give you another menu item that might help. There's a 32-ounce, 28-day dry aged bistecca alla Fiorentina with rosemary. So it's just a big porterhouse. 32-ounce, 28-day aged. It is 32 ounces and it is $220. Okay, so by the nature that the 85-day dry aged A5, which is Wagyu, Wagyu A5 is Wagyu. It doesn't give a size, which means it's an individual portion, just so you know. The nature that there's no size means it is individual.
Okay.
All right. So you have the 32 ounce, which is to be shared, clearly.
Yes.
Whether you are a beef baron or you are not, that is to be shared. All right, what are we thinking?
$120.
Damien comes in at 120 American dollars.
Yeah.
Kristen?
Price is Right rules. 121.
Oh,
Okay, fine. I was
That's
going to
so
say
dirty.
150. I was going to say 150.
Can I call a quick timeout?
Yeah.
Did you guys see the Turkish lira this week?
no.
What?
What happened?
They've got something wild like 85% inflation right now,
What?
and their interest rates are 60%. They just their Fed increased. We'll get back to that. Okay. This show's so good. I mean, who doesn't love this show? Okay, you guys ready? $400.
Why?
Is that just the thing you put on your menu to say you can? I mean, like,
Well, here's the thing. So I was listening to our server talk to a couple who brought up the steak, not because they were going to order it, because because it's ostentatious, to your point,
Yes.
Dave, right?
Yeah.
And the server said, we think it's a pretty good deal because for that same steak in the wrong city, and his point was Chicago, he thinks it would be closer to $900.
wrong city.
He didn't say the wrong city, but you get the point. He was saying not in quaint little Naptown. Anyway, I didn't pay anywhere near those prices for anything I ate last night, just so you know. But it was a delicious meal. A delicious, delicious meal.
See, it's not even worth it because even at that price, you still didn't know the name of the bovine. So it just doesn't work.
They could make one up. I mean, that's low hanging fruit.
I think his name was Kobe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kobe.
Hello.
By the way, the exchange rate for the Turkish lira right now, 3.3 cents per dollar. So every dollar Turkish lira, you get 3.3 American cents.
Okay, so Dame, I thought through some Turkish purchases this week because this is the time.
Yeah.
This is the time.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you right now my top 3 Turkish purchases that a person might want to purchase right now.
Number 3.
Turkish apricots.
Okay.
How do you even know that?
Shh, I don't know.
Number
It's a thing.
Okay. No. You don't need to explain.
It's funnier without explanations.
No.
Number 2.
Number 2. Turkish coffee.
Okay.
Touche.
And number 1.
Turkish delight.
Of course.
Oh, what a
Have you ever had really good Turkish delight?
No.
I don't know if I've ever had.
All right.
I've never had really bad Turkish delight, so I don't know.
There is, I'm going to try to pull it up right now. There is a store in Santa Barbara, California called Lokum, Lokum, which I believe is Turkish for specifically Turkish delight. So this store in Santa Barbara, California makes this crazy high-end Turkish delight. And I encourage everyone to Google Lokum, Lokum. SB is actually the website, Lokum SB, as in Santa Barbara. And it is ridiculous looking. It is so good. Turkish
Kristen,
delight is so good.
Yeah, Kristen, for your knowledge, because I didn't know either, it's a jelly candy made with rosewater, bergamot, cinnamon, and orange, and can include coconut, dry fruit, or nuts.
The sort of thing a person who orders a $400 steak would love.
Yeah.
Oh my.
The Turkish canned delight. That's what they're known for. And their coffee. Have you ever actually had, I believe it is called Turkish pulled coffee. Have you ever had it before?
Mm-mm.
No.
I have not either, but I've always wanted. It's like one of those international delicacies that I want a properly pulled cup of Turkish coffee. They heat it in these little copper things on hot sand, and the heat from the sand boils the coffee. You've seen it on
What?
the Tic Tac.
Hot sand boils coffee.
Are you being a doubting Thomas?
Yes. Sand can reach a temperature that can boil water.
Dame, I don't want to alarm you, but your mind may be blown on a video I'm going to show you later today
Okay.
of
I wait.
sand boiled coffee.
Sounds gritty.
Jameson says he's totally seen the vids. See, if listener, an all-time listener, Jameson has seen it, despite the extra vowels in his name. I think we can just say that that's a good thing.
Do you believe everything you see on the internet, Pete?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
All right, then we're off and running.
I'm going to tell an inappropriate story from my house this morning that will likely get me in trouble.
Only if somebody tells.
No one say anything to anyone involved in this. So it's about 7:55. I like to leave at 7:59. Kristen, you're saying, why such a specific time? But of course you're not saying that because you know me, right? Ted is downstairs in his pajamas. Ted, go upstairs because I got to take you to school. And we were leaving in 4 minutes. He goes upstairs. All of a sudden, there's a great deal of commotion. Mrs. Planner climbs the stairs. Ted is not wearing his school clothes, also not wearing his pajamas any longer, and is in the hallway doing crunches. And my daughter is screaming, "Let him cook! Let him cook!" as we admonish him for not being ready. I've been laughing all morning about just the visual. Okay, so he's like a little scrawny boy doing crunches, not clothed, and we go upstairs to admonish him for this, and our daughter screams, "Let him cook!" And it was a moment.
If you don't take time for fitness, Pete, who's gonna? I mean, you got to take care of the temple.
The temple. Okay. Are we ready for?
Let them cook, man. Let's go.
Okay, 12 minutes in. Wow.
Yeah, I know it was a great intro today.
I don't know if it was.
Pete clearly has nowhere to be today.
You know what I'm going to do the next time you guys are in the office? I think next Thursday. Is someone here next week?
I'm there Thursday.
Oh, thanks for the invite.
Yeah. The next time you both are here, I will make sure I have some Turkish delight. Is that fair?
I'd rather have a donut.
No.
Well,
all right.
Be fine. Okay, let's do a show. Oh, what are we talking about?
Do you want to do your segment first?
Yeah. Okay, great. 3, 2, 1. Well, I'm waiting till the top. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. And here's what happens. Sometimes we answer your questions. Sometimes I just talk about what I want to talk about. And by I mean me. And by we, I mean Kristen Elanius and Damian Dunn. Hello, Kristen.
Hello, Pete.
Hello, Dame.
Hello.
I have a rant.
Oh,
yeah. We're going to start off on a little negative foot this morning. I don't like negativity. I'm not a negative feller. But I'm so bothered and I'm so over something. And so we are going to start there today. We are then going to move on to Kristen, what retirement plan changes for 2024?
Very close. Retirement plan deposits in 2024. We're close. Very close.
Change of deposits.
Perhaps for you. You'll see.
we'll see.
Okay. And then the third segment is what we like to call Turkish Delight.
Ooh.
All right. Dame, do you read the periodicals?
Occasionally.
Yeah. Kristen,
Not
was there
as
a
often.
periodicals section at your library when you were a kid, or did they change the name to magazines?
To be perfectly honest, when you said that word, I wasn't entirely sure what you were referencing.
Oh
So
my
no.
gosh. Well, I'm glad though, honestly, because Dame, do you remember when you were a kid and you went to the library and there's the periodicals section and you were just like dumbfounded? You're like, what?
No, I was drawn to that because they had the newspapers hanging on the sticks that you could go over, and it was awesome. You feel like a grown up.
Kristen, have you ever seen a newspaper hung on a stick?
I don't believe that I have.
Pete, have
Anyway.
you?
Of course.
Okay, just making sure.
You and I are
Jeez, I thought I was panicking there for a second.
We're the guys from the Muppets. We're in the balcony. Kristen is Kermit the Frog.
Ugh.
I don't know. I didn't want to choose a different Muppet, so I just went with the main character. Okay. So this week in Central Indiana, yet another prominent financial advisor was accused of massive fraud and a scam. Taking accused by, I don't know, the Secretary of State of Indiana, the Securities Division, of redeploying $2 million of customer funds to purchase a home in Carmel, Indiana. And Dame, you've been at this game for a long time in Indiana, and here's what I know. Since roughly the year 2000, some 24 years or so, it feels like we're ground zero for Ponzi schemes and fraud and acts of financial malfeasance, and I'm sick of it. Is it, I will pause for a second. Is it me, or is Indiana somehow the Ponzi scheme capital of the world?
I mean, there's a lot of them. I would hesitate to say ground zero. I would like to think a lot of these are more regional stories and we just don't get wind of the vast majority of them. But you think of like Bernie Madoff. I mean, that was national news, but was it national news because it was involving a lot of really, really wealthy people and the numbers were really large? But we do have our fair share of these events.
And because, thank you. I'm sorry I stepped on you there, Kristen, because we just completed our budget processes here at our organization. I am not going to name names today because I am not interested in taking our legal spend up this year.
Fair.
Dame, are you good with that?
Yeah.
Kristen, you're good with that.
I am absolutely okay.
We would rather reallocate. So I will speak in generalities. Also, every profession has bad apples. Every single one. Doctors, lawyers, clergy, police officers, teachers, politicians, radio shows.
Some more than others.
Yeah.
Radio
CEOs.
shows.
But somehow, every time I read one of these stories, it bothers me as much as anything because I have witnessed, Dame knows this, I have witnessed a person in a room realize that they were scammed for a lot of money by an unscrupulous person. I was there the moment the realization happened, and all of the oxygen in the world was sucked out of that room. And we're just there feeling the shame and anger. And so every time I read one of these stories, I think about the hundreds, sometimes thousands of people that are going through that same oxygen deprivation that I had to witness a few years ago. So here's the thing about this. When you try to say, well, how do you make sure you don't get caught up with the crooks? It's harder than you think. And I think that's the saddest part because there are crooks at tiny firms. And oftentimes, Dame, people are like, well, if they're a tiny firm, then they've got looser compliance, but arguably true. Some of the biggest cases, as you might note, and Dame did mention a New York-based fraudster, there are crooks at mega firms. There are pseudo-celebrity crooks who you know, when they show up in the paper, like, oh, I saw this person on TV. And there's crooks you've never heard of. So you can't go, oh, this person just wants to be a celebrity, and that's why they're a crook. There are male crooks, Dame. And allegedly, there are female crooks, too. But if we're being honest,
most of them.
Mostly male crooks.
Yeah.
Some are driven by greed. Some are driven by addiction. Some driven by ego. Some are really great liars.
Yeah.
And some aren't that great a liar. So if you did a little bit of due diligence, you could sniff it out potentially before everything goes down. So what I'd love to do, and this feels like it's bleeding into two segments, so I'm so sorry, Kristen. Did I blow up your show?
A little bit.
No.
Kristen, when have I ever been known to ruin your plans?
That has never happened.
I just want to talk about some due diligence that you have to do. You have to do. And I'm going to give you a shining vague example because I don't want to get sued. Dame, you got to go to BrokerCheck. It is the lowest hanging fruit that exists. If a person is giving you guidance specifically about your investments, go to brokercheck.finra.org, search their name. And Dame, what will that often do? It will shoot you off to the SEC website, won't it?
Very frequently it will, yes.
And then you can search for them there. And here's what you might find there is that the person who's giving you guidance has what we like to call disclosures in our industry on their report. Kristen, have you spent much time on BrokerCheck?
I have. I'm a sleuth. I like to look.
Have you ever come upon a man, because that's what it often is, who has disclosures on their record?
Yes, I have.
And when you read through the disclosures, they're pretty enlightening. They're not vague at all. Actually,
No.
it's all right there.
Yep, all the information you need, it's there.
And so if you were researching someone who's giving you securities advice that you met in their office or whatever, and you went to BrokerCheck, you saw a disclosure and it said settlement for $72,000 because of this or this or this, what are you thinking, Kristen?
I'm thinking that maybe I need to interview some additional financial professionals.
So about 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, massive case of financial fraud in Central Indiana from one of the biggest financial shops in the world. The local office, biggest broker, gets caught for excessive trading. Okay.
Lovely.
And this is 2015-ish, not naming names. If his clients would have gone to BrokerCheck, they would have seen that 9 years prior, he had a disclosure for the very thing that blew up in 2015.
Yikes.
And so it's with that. I need to calm down. I need to pour myself some chamomile tea with maybe some bergamot. And we'll come back after the break. I will continue my thoughts in this regard. It will be very exciting. You will be very frustrated. And you will learn right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. It's a little wound up. Was it? Are we doing okay though?
Yeah. If you set me up to talk about financial literacy as part of this conversation, I think I have a really nice segue into what you mentioned in pre-show.
Great.
Might just work.
I love it when a plan comes together and then I ruin it.
Jameson.
I'm writing the column. I'm submitting my column. I'm actually going through my column, listener people, that I'm submitting next week to a periodical.
Will that name names?
No, I mean, no, and for the same thing, like this isn't about the names. I love this topic.
I mean, I hate that we have to talk about it, but
it's awful.
It's awful.
You know, oh, go ahead, please, sir. I'm so sorry. I'm stepping on you this week, and last week I was mean to Kristen.
We'll blame it on technology. I was at a comedy show, very, very small room comedy show a couple of years ago. Guys up there. I think I mentioned this show to you.
Was I in the show?
No.
Okay. I was like, wait, are you going to say something awkward here?
This guy was up there trying his hardest, but the room was not supporting his efforts. It could be because he wasn't all that funny.
Are you sure it wasn't me?
I'm pretty sure it wasn't you. But the guy might have alluded to his career during the time he was up there, or at least what he pretended his career was. So, being me, I pulled out my phone in the middle of the show and went to BrokerCheck.
You have never told me this story. Have you?
I thought I did. Maybe I
There's
didn't.
no way you've told me that. Wait, so this last few months, you've told us you get punched in the face in an adult soccer game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In this BrokerCheck story, and these have never been shared with me. Are we even friends?
Continuing
Guess
on.
not.
I managed to find the guy, and he had disclosures.
What?
I was
Love
like,
it.
well, you know what? I'd normally say stick to your day job, but in this case, you earn every non-laugh you get on stage.
Okay. I want everyone right now who's listening to the show, that's watching it on the live stream. If you have someone who gives you financial advice, and no, the three of us don't count because we don't actually give you investment advice. And if you think we give you investment advice, you are wrong. Don't listen to our investment advice. Not what we do. And by the way, there's no compensation exchange. We're not your financial advisor. But if you have one with someone who thinks they are, go to Broker Check right now. Search them out. Here's what I know. When I print this column next week, or I don't print it. I don't do a lot of manual labor. But when it is printed, I guarantee you people will do the search that I'm asking you to do, and people will find some stuff, and I will feel good about it.
As you should.
Every once in a while, I feel good. Usually involves beef.
Mm.
And this is the other use of beef, which is conflict. Others. Okay. Let's go back in 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show, talking financial fraud from financial advisors, primarily in Central Indiana, because that's what we're known for. So, Dame, first thing a person is to do is to go to Broker Check. In fact, if you're listening here right now with your ear holes, I encourage you to go to Broker Check right now. brokercheck.finra.org. If the person, without getting too technical, in certain circumstances, you will have a disclosure there, and it will also offer to take you to the SEC version of that site, which looks oddly similar. And there will be disclosures or no disclosures there. If you have a disclosure, read about it. It's very clear. It is not vague. Of all the dumb things pseudo quasi-governmental agencies do, they are often vague. Dame, this is not vague. It is very spelled out.
Yes, not at all. Can I get a timeout, by the way?
Oh my gosh, yes.
What?
Let's say you are walking into an office, a financial advisor office.
Hold on a second.
Yeah. Oh, I'm there. And I sit down. Okay. And the representative, the advisor I'm talking to, slides a folder across the table.
Oh, that was really good. I'm Michael Winslow.
Oh, here we go.
I'm a Michael Winslow. Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on.
All right. Would you be questioning things a little bit, or would you be reassured if part of that intro meeting or that interview, the advisor you're talking to had their Broker Check printed out for you to examine?
Dude, I love that. I mean, it's like getting a Carfax.
Mm-hmm.
I would. What do you think? Well, Chris, let's go to Chris. Well, it's your timeout, Dame. Can you call on somebody?
I transfer my timeout.
What?
I transfer my timeout to you.
Okay.
Krista, go.
I think I would feel really good about that. And there could be reasons why financial professionals don't do that proactively. Like, I think about my situation specifically. I had been an advisor for 5 whole minutes. I'm not showing someone my report because I have been licensed for 5 whole minutes.
Yeah.
And while I had an undergraduate degree in the field, which is not a requirement, by the way, while I had the education that made me feel like I had more than 5 minutes of experience, I'm not sure how much confidence that would have yielded in my prospects and clients.
I would love it. And I think it's an amazing thing to do. And I've sort of skipped over this, but Dame, today we are both talking as financial professionals, but we're also talking as consumers. We really dislike financial malfeasance. Like it bothers us to no end. But you know who it bothers the most? Honest financial advisors.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, you're right. It absolutely bothers good financial advisors because it puts a black check mark by everybody's name in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And when people are already skeptical about what we do or what you and I did, but what the industry does and the value they provide, any story like this is just going to drive one more wedge in between somebody who really needs the help and the people that can give it to them.
I know that this bothers financial advisors because every time one of these stories breaks, my text messages and my emails go bananas. Droves, honestly, droves of links to the article, and with some pithy commentary along the lines of, told ya. Told ya.
Oh, so not that it may have been widely known, but potentially suspected that something was fishy going on at that firm amongst the industry.
Most people here locally, people in the biz have their suspicions. I'll say that. I will also, it is not a bad idea to also go to the Indiana Criminal Records database and search your advisor's name. And I say this because, as Damien knows, and Kristen, you know this too, if you have an arrest, it must be disclosed on your U4, and it can make you surrender your insurance licenses. And in one recent act of malfeasance here in Central Indiana, there was prominent news of a person's criminal activity, and it would have all shown up in the insurance because their insurance licenses would have been expired or surrendered because they had to by law. Yet people were still purchasing insurance products from this person.
Yeah, that website, by the way, is mycase, mycase.in.gov, mycase.in.gov. You can find all sorts of fun stuff about your friends and family.
Yes, you can.
Website.
Can I just say, this is not about looking at a person's missteps and saying people can't make mistakes and people do not make bad judgments and are unredeemable. This is to say, if all of my financial future relies on the trustworthiness of an individual controlling it, I want to know their arrest history. And I'm sorry. Well, actually, I am not sorry about not being sorry about this, because it matters. It matters so much.
You know, something that is sticking out to me as we're talking about this is we had a couple people in the live chat mention that they didn't know to go to broker check. And Pete, when you started this segment or the previous segment, you were talking about the shame that people felt when you could just feel the shame when you were in the room with someone who found out. And that's where it's a full circle thing, because it's the shame of feeling like you're in over your head when it comes to these conversations, and maybe an unwillingness to ask for help because your financial literacy in this space is maybe not where it should be to make an informed decision. And when I say financial literacy in this context, I mean your financial skills, your financial knowledge, and your financial self-efficacy. You can't know what you don't know, and you can't apply knowledge that you don't have. If someone doesn't know to go to broker check, they can't practice the skill of vetting that financial professional if it's a website they didn't know they should be consulting anyway.
Was that show moment of the year right
yeah,
there?
she's really smart.
That was unbelievable. And to that point, Kristen, you get into this idea of the two primary emotions that drive financial decision making being fear and greed. If you don't understand that from a literacy component, you go to one of these unscrupulous advisors, they pick up on your fear and or greed, they stoke it. That is what the basis for deceiving you.
Yep, 100% is capitalizing on you feeling like I said, like you're not fully prepared to participate in that conversation, and you might not even realize the tells that you're giving someone. Because when I'm talking to someone like at Your Money Line about a topic, if I'm not totally sure that I think that they understand what I'm saying, because that happens a lot in Dame and I's work, is we'll be talking to someone and I'm like, I'm not sure that they're on the same page as me. I might, with all the love and care in the world, kind of set them up a little bit. And if then their response can be really revealing to me. There could be people who are using that against you, that technique.
Dame, I'm going right now. I just went to broker check, and to further a point here, one of the more recent cases in Central Indiana of rampant fraud allegedly. I'm not getting involved with that. If the person had gone to broker check, they would learn this person isn't registered and the person is giving investment advice.
Yeah,
No.
they only had insurance licenses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people like to draw a distinction between insurance and investment advice and all those sorts of things. But if you're being asked to liquidate a security, and you know what? We're picking up on that after the break. I'm sorry. I'm on a heater. Kristen,
Oh
I have
my.
blown up your entire show today.
It's okay.
But hey, it's hard to get me this emotional about something other than Tottenham Hotspurs. All right. Coming up after the break, more on crooks, stinking crooks, right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. I get the feeling the three of us are massive internet sleuths.
I've been accused by my wife of being creepy.
Unapologetic is what I am.
I know some stuff. All right. Let's have a moment of complete honesty here, and I'm okay with it. I want you to know, and you don't have to take the bait. You don't, and you
Okay.
never have to take the bait. Have you ever looked up my criminal history on Indiana criminal records?
I just did. There. If you don't include the N, there is a lot of Peter Dunn. So if somebody's out there and maybe they've already done it, there are a lot of Peter Dunns, and they are not our Peter Dunn.
I'm okay if you have. I have done. I have criminal record, and it's from speeding tickets. That's it.
Yeah.
Because in Indiana, all speeding tickets are there. It's not about, because in some states there's criminal speed, which is an excessive speed. In Indiana, it's all there. So I think, oh my God, I'm not going to say I haven't had a speeding ticket in a while. I just want you to know that I'm not going to say that phrase.
Okay.
A lot are from the past.
You're neat.
I will also say to that point, Dame, this is not going to apply to Dame. I have slowed down as I've gotten older.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in less of a hurry. I don't care. But Dame, you're a car guy. You're driving a freaking supercar. I mean, you're not slowing down. You're driving like an idiot.
It depends on the vehicle I'm in, and the circumstances. I don't drive like an idiot around people. I drive like an idiot when I'm the only person I'm going to hurt.
Aaron notes on the live stream that one of the Peter Dunns is not paying child support.
Yeah, it looks like your last. Ooh,
Is that me?
was it around 2010? Because it was more than just a. No, that can't be you.
No, it's. I mean, I've only had my only brush with the law was speeding tickets.
This can't be it then, because it says you were driving while suspended.
No, that's probably not.
Oh, that's funny.
Lovely.
No,
All right. Yeah.
It never occurred to me to look up the two of you. I just took you at your word. That was naive, huh?
Damien's got all sorts of Krav Maga incidences.
I think my speeding ticket's probably in here. I'll look real quick.
What prize did you get?
Depends on what state you're talking about.
All right, Kristen, I feel like I forgot my ultimate point.
Uh-oh.
What?
No, yeah, there.
Insurances.
Oh,
if
no.
someone's telling you to liquidate a security who doesn't have securities license or licensure.
I said that. I think I ended there.
Oh, I thought you were like, and we're going to pick back up. So I thought you wanted to
I know, I thought I did too, but now we started talking about criminal records.
Yeah.
No, Dame, you got me thinking about that suspended license. That might be me.
2010.
Why would you have a suspended license?
Okay, 2010. Can you pull down the address of the plaintiff? Is it me?
Let me get back to it. Hold on.
Here's what I think happened. I got a speeding ticket in Colorado. Dame, I've told you this story.
I don't think so.
My sister said to use his birthday to filter out the other Peter Dunns.
Yeah. Okay. Don't give my birthday over the air. I had a speeding ticket in Colorado, and when I had to mail in payment back into Colorado.
It's you.
Yeah, and the check. Okay. This is what happened. The check never got there. So one night I was just driving, and I got pulled over. I wasn't speeding. I wasn't doing anything, and I was in my neighborhood, and the police officer said, your license is suspended," and I was like, "What?" because I had mailed the check like 2 weeks before and they never got it. So I had to go to, I think I went to court
You did.
and I showed them like the canceled check and it got taken care of. Or not the canceled check. I showed them the check register of writing it.
Yeah, it says that it was dismissed.
Yeah.
That's
Ooh.
hilarious.
God,
Yeah.
I got sweaty there.
Yeah, well, it all worked out for you on the internet and in real life.
How did let's just go this way. I didn't knowingly drive on a suspended license. How about that?
That's
I
different.
love Rochelle's comment.
You didn't go to hand them the check. Oh, is that a cut on my my mortgage payment?
Yes.
Rochelle, hey, ladies and gentlemen, Rochelle is now in the running for listener of the year. Holy cow, Rochelle.
Oh, that's-
Off the top rope. Wow.
Just elbow. Oh my gosh.
That's funny. Dane, we have one of our colleagues, newer colleagues, just joined the team, coming into town for onboarding stuff, right? And at first I thought this person's onboarding was going to match up when my mortgage is due, and I thought about taking them with me to go pay the mortgage.
Yeah, we're gonna go have lunch, but first,
But first, I got to swing by this thing. Why? I've got to pay my mortgage. Oh, Rochelle. Okay. I don't think I have anything else to say about the advisor thing. I think I don't.
Okay, so then what do you want the third segment to be? The
Well, I want it to
emergency
be
fund
whatever
segment?
you this thing that you worked on.
Oh, well, we can either do that or we can do the emergency fund thing. Either one, I don't care. Damien, choose.
no, you're not the boss. Oh, wait.
Okay, I'll choose. In 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. You know, Kristen, the turn of the year means that the government has likely changed how much money you can put into your retirement plan in a tax-advantaged way. And what we have found here at Your Money Line is people often don't adjust because they have crazy end-of-the-year shenanigans that tire them out and make them unable to follow through on important adult tasks. So what we would like to do today is to talk about retirement plan deposits in all aspects, including aspects that I may not have mentioned because I potentially misunderstood the topic. Go ahead.
So we are big advocates of power percentage around here, not just because it's a proprietary metric, but because it's arguably one of the best financial metrics that exists.
By the way, I really missed the boat on this, didn't I?
Yeah,
A little bit, yeah, but it's okay. Well,
Good.
And so we, in an attempt to continue to improve your power percentage, we wanted to look specifically at retirement plan deposits because it is the beginning of the year and say, what can I do to improve my power percentage when specifically with retirement plan deposits? And in the last segment, I mentioned what is now my favorite definition of financial literacy, which I know, Pete, in the past, you have not always been the biggest fan of the term financial literacy. And so the team that Dame and I work on, we have adopted this new definition that has 3 pillars that, in our opinion, make the term feel less loaded. So that's financial skills, financial knowledge, and financial self-efficacy. So I just kind of wanted to take some time to talk about retirement plan deposits, improving our financial literacy, improving our power percentage. And I don't know if Damien, maybe you want to mention what skills, knowledge, and self-efficacy actually are.
I don't know. No, skills. You have to be able to put your knowledge into practice. So, retirement plan deposits, if we're talking about that, is how's that money getting there? How do you know how to make sure that you are benefiting your future self and potentially, arguably, your present self by making those retirement plan deposits? How is it happening? Knowledge. what kind of retirement account do you want to use? Is it going to be an employer sponsored one? Is it going to be a IRA? Is there a match involved? What's the vesting schedule of that? There's all sorts of bits of knowledge when you're talking about retirement plan deposits that you need to know. You absolutely need to know them. And then self-efficacy. If you know the stuff and you know how to do the stuff, but maybe there's been some experience in your life, whatever it is, that makes you doubt what's going on, or you're just not sure, you can't pull the trigger on it. You got to be confident enough in what you know and how to do it to go out and do it. Those are the three pillars we're talking about: skills, knowledge, self-efficacy.
So
Please.
in the retirement plan deposit space specifically, we have found that in our anecdotal experience, we suspect that people are great at like two of these and maybe falling a little short on one, and perhaps unknowingly, which was evident in the conversation that we just had. There were people in our Facebook Live comments who clearly are working with a financial professional because they knew that was the right thing to do, but didn't know they should be looking at broker check. So like when we're talking about retirement plan deposits specifically, one of the skills that we have to learn how to do is we have to learn how to have money conversations about the importance of retirement, because collectively we are deficient.
Is it fair to say there's an equivalency here with nutrition at home, to say like, okay, there's one thing to have access to nutritious foods to prepare, but even the knowledge that there is the concept of nutrition. At one point in time, I believe the FDA came up with the food pyramid, right? And that was an attempt to try to educate people there. We have learned that has pivoted over time. But to your point, Kristen, it is that very basic level of education, and then the efficacy appointment to be able to advocate for yourself is so wildly important.
Yeah, there's so many parallels between the work that we do in like fitness, nutrition, health. I mean, all day, every day. And you're exactly right. I had that very conversation this week about how people can't know what they don't know when it comes to nutrition. And that absolutely applies to your personal finances too.
And Dame, it keeps evolving. I mean, I'm reading articles now about how to live your best physical fitness as you approach your 50s.
Yeah.
And so I'm reading about, hey, bucko, back down on the cardio and get some weight training in. And by the way, that advice did not exist in bulk 20 years ago.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's crazy. I mean, we think about, there are two things that people are incredibly self-conscious. A lot of people are incredibly self-conscious about: their weight and their fitness, and their money, their financial situation. And I think a conversation that we kind of had last week about social media, some of those barriers are coming down for younger generations, where it's just kind of all out there for everybody to see. Time will tell whether or not that's a good thing. But for the rest of us, for those of us approaching our 50s, we have to figure out how to have these conversations just an honest, thoughtful, empathetic way. Because Pete, you and I have been in this industry, I don't know, it seems like forever at this point. Do you know everything that goes on in this industry? Do you know like every in and out? No, nobody. We don't. And that's frankly why a lot of advisors niche. They find a small group of people that they like to work with that do certain things, because even they know that they can't know everything. What reasonable expectation should the average individual have that they know everything about finance too? They shouldn't. Take that burden off your shoulders. Find trusted professionals that can work with you to get you to those financial goals that you've got. You have to be able to do that, because you likely can't do it all yourself.
Dame, I've gotten to the point, honestly, and this is oversharing. I believe I am approaching I've forgotten more about finance than many people know. But in the negative sense, like there's so much to know.
Yeah.
Dame, at least in the last couple of years, I'm so far out of the day-to-day advice that our team provides. I've forgotten. I really have forgotten. And that is there's so much to know, and staying current on that is wildly important.
Yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of new, legislative changes and new developments and new products. You've got other things to worry about, Pete. You can't be expected to stay up on that. Neither can the average individual. You just can't put that burden on yourself, that expectation.
Kristen, I even think about things like, oh, the changes of what you can use a 529 plan for.
Mhm.
Um, what percent of people actually know that? I mean, seriously, what percent of people actually know the massive changes there?
Very.
5?
Oh,
No.
maybe. And then that opens a door for people with less than pure intentions. Like I just had a conversation with someone in my personal life who was like, I don't want to use a 529 because what if my kid doesn't want to go to school?
Mhm.
And they had someone who, again, likely had not the best intentions trying to push them toward a different product. And it's like, they were preying on the lack of knowledge and the skills to be able to find these additional resources. And little did they know that their best friend is very financially educated. So I was like, absolutely not. This is not what we do. But if you don't have that person to turn to and you don't know where to find those resources, that's how the previous two segments, that's how those stories happen.
If you tell me that product was an insurance product of some sort, I'm going to punch the air.
I didn't say
Yeah,
anything.
but with great force and technique.
Yeah, it will be very sorry.
Dame, this also makes me think of public service loan forgiveness is the
Mhm.
ultimate version that we touch on a daily basis here at Your Moneyline of I didn't know. I mean, pretty wild stuff. I mean, we're talking, and that's not judgment. It's just like, of course, there's a lot going on. I can't expect you to know it, but if you did, maybe you would have gotten a lot of student loans forgiven that you've been paying on and get a refund in the process. So, Kristen, thank you for your grace in not throwing me completely under the bus for misunderstanding the topic.
You're welcome.
And we'll do that during the break. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come back. The show has been a heater, as they call it in the biz. I don't know if anybody calls it that. We're going to come back with biggest waste of money of the week. I'm pretty sure I'm going to stump both people today on biggest waste of money of the week. And the news. I may even have a guessing game. All of that is next right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. Kristen, I'm sorry. I'd say I'm embarrassed, but I'm not that embarrassed.
Not even.
Actually makes for a better show.
She made it work.
Of course she did. She's Kristen. I just want to look up every financial advisor I know right now on BrokerTrack.
And then my case.
Dame, you and I used to be on it.
I'm not. I just checked. I am not on it anymore.
Really?
I'm not either. I fell off.
Oh.
Which is great. I mean, I'm not licensed. Great.
Yeah.
I was.
How long ago did your guys' licenses lapse?
Mine was 2012 or 13.
Mine would have been
10 years. I bet it's 10 years.
Mine would have been 2010 or 11.
Yeah, so maybe 10 years. I don't know. Am I on there?
Oh, what state?
It was, no, I was licensed in Illinois.
I've heard of that. It sounds nice. Actually, I'm not going to put the state because, there you are. Hey,
There she
girl.
is.
Disclosure.
Whatever.
Disclosure. Not a disclosure. Calm down.
Mm-mm.
Not a disclosure. One firm, 3 exams passed. I got your middle name here. We won't share it with the people. Midwestern Securities Trading, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You passed the Series 7 September 27th of 2016 on the first try? No, me neither. Dame, did you pass the 7 on the first try?
Yes.
I didn't. Well, don't say it like that. It's hard.
In my
is hard.
defense, the 7, I was told, hey, schedule your exam. And then if you don't feel ready, we'll move your test date. And I was not allowed to move my test date. And I missed it, I believe, by 1. Because you have to get whatever this
70.
Yeah. I was not happy.
My excuse is maybe a little bit more classic. I was a college student.
Yeah.
Fair.
And it was during finals week.
Yay.
But of course, as Dame would note, it's not like I studied for 5
Yeah.
years.
You have plenty of time. I'm not sure what was going on.
Jameson notes, does it show her master's degree? It doesn't. It
Uh-huh.
doesn't. Anyway, Kristen, congratulations on no disclosures.
Thank you.
No disclosures. When we hire people in your department and they were previously financial advisor, do we do broker checks?
I think I looked at her up when before I hired her, if I remember correctly.
Okay, just checking. All right, let's do a show. I gotta go. Hold on a second. I'm not ready. This is fun. This is fun. What we do here. Sometimes. Okay, 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week, right here on the Pete the Planner Show, is a product which I'm going to tell you about: the Yellow Leaf Hammock Throne. Hammocks are generally used for outdoor relaxation. While the Yellow Leaf Hammock Throne can accommodate that purpose, it's sleek enough for indoor use. Can I get a quick timeout?
Of course.
There's going to be a piece of copy coming here in a few minutes that is going to take your breath away. It is awkward at best, and we're going to have to talk about it, and I'll let you determine what it is when I'm done.
All right.
I'm back in. It has a maple wood frame sustainably grown and harvested in the USA and crafted at Fancher Chair in Western New York. Timeout number 2.
Mm-hmm.
This also suggests that I did some show prep today.
True.
Time in. The stand has a U-shaped base containing an internal cross-roller ball bearing for 360-degree rotation. Marine-grade weatherproofing lets it survive the elements outside. A 46-inch diameter means it doesn't dominate indoor space.
Yes.
And the unique form of the hammock itself is designed to never flip over. Made in Thailand by well-paid workers, the hammock consists of over 2.5 miles of super soft yarn for ultimate comfort.
Oh my.
Well paid is very subjective.
Well, I have literally never read a product description that says, hey, this is made in this country by well-paid workers. Methinks someone is overcompensating for something that they feel is sensitive. And also, of course, we want people to be well paid. Like, not the point, but that's sort of super awkward to call out in the copy, is it not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kristen. You don't have the dad vibe, so I don't think you enjoy a hammock the way Dame and I do.
No.
But what are we thinking here?
No, I do have one on my Amazon wish list though.
Really?
For the camper. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What do we think here?
Let's go. If these people weren't well paid, I feel like my guess would be different.
Jeez, look at you. Look at you.
Let's go $500.
500. American, or are we going with the Turkish lira?
Certainly not the Turkish lira.
All right, Dame.
It looks uncomfortable. It's pretentious. There are well-paid people in Thailand making it for people in New York to sell. This thing's got to be $2,100.
$3,999. Dame, what's in the news this week?
Well, Pete, something you said earlier caught my ear.
Thanks for listening.
And I want to make sure that I keep you going on this heater you've got going, because you said there were 2 things that get you fired up. Stories like we discussed today, and stories about billionaire Joe Lewis pleading guilty to insider trading this week. Lewis, an investor who owns Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and looks like a Bond villain, copped to 1 count of conspiracy to commit securities fraud and 2 counts of securities fraud. Quote, I knew at the time what I was doing was wrong, and I am so embarrassed, he told the judge. Prosecutors claim he tipped off girlfriends and staff, including his pilots, to non-public info about companies he had invested in. The 86-year-old, who was out on bail with a 322-foot yacht and a private plane as collateral, faces up to 45 years in prison, but is likely to be sentenced to less.
If you can't share inside information with the pilot of your private jet and a lover, who can you share private information with?
He really said, I told my girlfriends, plural, and then said, I knew it was wrong and I'm not sorry.
No. Prosecutors claim he tipped off girlfriends and staff, including his pilots, but he just said he knew what he was doing was wrong, and he is so embarrassed.
Okay.
Okay, look, do not judge Tottenham Hotspur based on their ownership and or management. Let's judge them on the pitch. Dame, that's dirty. That is dirty
That's
because
bad.
Tottenham has a massive game today, 3 p.m. versus City.
It had
And-
everything you wanted. It had insider trading. It had, securities
Yeah.
fraud. It had your team. I mean, this is like your story.
I almost wore my Tottenham jersey today, but I have a lunch where I have to look like the CEO of a company, so I didn't wear it today.
And you chose that shirt?
Oh, that's
Oh,
oh,
got him.
what else is in the news?
Pete, I am very curious as to what your reaction to this one's going to be. Applebee's year-long subscription for weekly date night sold out within minutes on Monday. The restaurant chain's website appeared to crash on Monday afternoon, soon after noon Eastern time, when the coveted $200 date night pass went on sale. Due to popular demand, the Applebee's date night pass is sold out, the chain posted on its website a short time later. In a statement released later on Monday, an Applebee's spokesman confirmed that the passes had sold in 1 minute. The company declined to disclose how many passes were sold. The passes include up to $30 of food and non-alcoholic beverages per use and are valid 52 times between February 1st of this year and January 31st of next. When all 52 discounts are redeemed, a pass has the value of roughly $1,500, $200 for $1,500 worth of food at an Applebee's. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
Okay.
Kristen?
Deal. And honestly, the only way that story would have been better is if you would have said it was Chili's.
You know, I have something to admit. When I was in high school, there was a Applebee's that I used to take dates to.
Mhm.
And the reason I took them to this particular Applebee's was because in the entryway, they would put tchotchkes and memorabilia from the local high schools and
school.
whatnot.
Uh-huh.
And it just so happened that they grabbed the yearbook from my high school, and there was a picture of me as the captain of the football team that was right in the entryway. And I would walk in with an unsuspecting young lady. I was and I'd be like, oh, I asked them to take that down. And I'm like, come on, baby, let's go get some riblets. Oh my gosh, it's true.
And that's
It's so true.
So embarrassing.
It is, but Dame, does anything capture an 18-year-old Peter Dunn quite like that?
No, I believe every single word you just said.
It is so true. I am kind of embarrassed, but look, we are who we are. What else is in the news?
The craze for Stanley stainless steel drinking cups reached new levels last week when a woman was arrested and accused of stealing 65 of them worth almost $2,500 from a store in California. Police in Roseville and Placer County, northeast of Sacramento, said Sunday that they were called Wednesday, do the math, to a report of a theft from a store on Stanford Ranch Road in the city. Staff saw the woman taking a shopping cart full of Stanley water balls without paying for them. The suspect refused to stop for staff and stuffed her car with the stolen merchandise, police said in a statement. An officer spotted the suspect's vehicle as it entered Highway 65 and initiated the traffic stop. The so far unnamed woman of Sacramento was arrested and accused of grand theft. I have a picture that I wish I could share. I should have sent it to you. The hood of the police cruiser is covered in Stanleys. It is absolutely hilarious.
Kristen, I would like to try a joke on the fly and have you be the only person to tell me whether it's funny or not.
Okay, go.
When police confronted her and said, "Ma'am, did you pay for all of these Stanleys?" she was heard screaming, "Not Yeti."
Punny.
So no.
Nah.
You know what was sometimes the silence cuts. But in this case, since I can see you, your facial expression is what salted the wounds.
My face is very honest. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, your sister laughed.
Hmm.
Okay, I think we're done here. All right. Well, Dame, thanks for your contributions to this whole year thing.
It was great.
And Kristen, thank you for being you.
You're welcome.
For everyone else, I'm sending you good vibes because good vibes are all that's in the budget. Go to brokercheck.finra.org. I'm Pete the Planner. This is the show. I so badly want someone to look for their broker and then email me if they found something, a disclosure. Should I put that in the column? Just
Ask Pete.
if you find a disclosure, email me and let me know.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was so I haven't submitted the column yet. I've submitted it on Mondays. But it's done because that's how heated I am. And
That is unusual.
that is unusual. I actually emailed my editor this morning and asked for more space. I said, I'm at my word limit. Can I have more?
And
I haven't heard back from her yet because she's doing her job.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. It's issue day. Okay. I get the feeling that our friend Mason, who does the IBJ podcast, might come calling on this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Do either of you want to be on that with me to sort of calm me down? Or
No way. It'll be way more fun like this.
I feel like in that case, I almost like need to call our attorney just to make sure. Because he's going to ask he's going to ask, he's going to name names, and it's going to get me in trouble.
Ask Molly what she thinks first.
Oh, I know what Molly's going to say. Molly's not going to let me do it. All right, Kristen, you got any big plans this weekend?
Going to Sam's Club.
Not a Costco person, huh? You're a Sam's Club.
I previously only had access to Sam's Club, and so I've just like continued that membership. I don't really have a strong preference.
Dame, what you got going?
The swim meet in West Lafayette this weekend.
Oh,
Boiler up.
I'm driving to Evansville for a cheer competition. Yeah, so I didn't see that one coming when I.
Did you get your outfit all cleaned up after you said you're driving for the cheerleading competition? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going. So didn't see that one coming when I met Mrs. Planner at our university years ago. Okay, well, that's it. Stay getting money.